reason to be there. How do you get them? One good way to not get them is by writing a very boring first sentence or having terrible screenshots. But beyond that, everything I said before is exactly what we're talking about here. Those 3 sentences, put them at the top. Ridiculous Fishing's App Store page, go read that. Because I just did everything I just said on that page. That's all I did. It's communication. That's just it. So if you wonder about this, you know what question to ask yourself. The question is why? Why should I be interested in this game? Well, because this and this. Why that and that? And then you keep asking until you find that thing, and you just try it on some people. Go to somebody random. You go, okay, so I'm making a game, and it's about, I don't know what your game's about. If they're interested, well done. If they're not interested, try again. Find somebody else. And then keep doing that until you can get like 5 people excited in a row. That's your sentence. So that's it. Again, it's communication, it's optimization. Other questions?
Hey.
You have a good beard.
Thanks. I struggle with writing good subject lines for emails to anybody, actually. You said 5 to 7 words, but any more thoughts on that?
Yes, 5 to 7 words. The 5 to 7 words you write should be a summary of what is in the email. That needs to be nothing else. You don't need to make it exciting. You don't need to make it spectacular. You just need to say what's in this email. So, Flambeer launches Ridiculous Fishing. Flambeer announces new iOS game. Flambeer this, Flambeer that. New young Indian game studio releases ball rolling game. I don't know. Like, that's kind of the way you want to think. This is not the place for fireworks. This is the place for this is what you're getting if you click on this email. Because that's all they really want. If you go like I said, if you go like spectacular, they just go like, yep. They don't care. They don't want that. They just want to know what's in your email. If your email says, we're announcing our first game, that is actually a better email. That's a better subject line. It's a terrible subject line, but it's a better subject line than go, unique revolutionary experience never seen before, now coming to your mobile device. It's like, whatever. Is that a good answer? Good.
So yeah, I have a question. So when do you start marketing? I saw this interesting talk, I think you tweeted about it, Spy Party. So the guy says that the overall gaming audience, the attention span is reducing. So at what point in development do you start marketing?
So that's a really interesting question because I think the question is wrong. There's a really simple reason. You can't not do marketing. There's no way to not do marketing. Everything you do is marketing. Everything I say ever, on my Twitter, my Facebook, the way I respond to my emails, the way I respond to Reddit threads, the way I stand here on stage, all of that is marketing. I'm not doing that intentionally because my marketing is reflective of who I am, right? But you cannot not do marketing. Now, you're asking for, when do I start reaching out? When do I start actively reaching out to people? Now, that's an interesting question because the answer to that question is different per game. Some games benefit from nobody knowing anything about it, and then suddenly there's news, right? And you see those a lot, and the trick with that is that actually they've been in contact with the press for months. Like, they didn't just send their game to the press a day before launch to get their surprise release. They've actually been communicating with the press for months so that the press knows what they're talking about, that the press knows what the story is, that the press knows why it's interesting, and then they push the news on the day before launch. So you start marketing immediately. You start marketing immediately because the moment you start your game, you're dedicating your time and your commitment to a game, and you need to figure out why. So you need to start thinking about those questions that exact moment. Why am I interested in this game? Sometimes you don't know the answer yet, that's fine. But if you still don't know the answer after 6 weeks of work, you've got a problem. Like, this is something you need to figure out early. For every platform, there are different moments that are optimal to reach out. Like I said, iOS, generally 3 to 4 weeks. Steam, a bit more. 2 months would actually be a pretty good timer. The thing is, depends on your game, depends on the platform, depends on the circumstances, depends on what other games are launching. The best way to figure this out, send an email to a bunch of developers you like that have released on the platform you're thinking about. Send them an email and go like, hey, listen, I'm releasing a game soon. Think the game is good. Here's the pitch. You pitch them the game. Hopefully by the end of it, they'll be excited. And then you ask them, listen, what would your tips be to launch on this platform with this game? Most developers, especially developers that have launched successful games on platforms, will happily answer an email like that. If you are ever in a situation where you need to know something about your game, send me an email, and if I am not in an airplane flying around the world, I will try and answer that as soon as possible. I'll take 2 more.
So you released a premium game, right? Pay up front for ridiculous fishing.
Sorry, one more time?
You released-
premium, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So is there an attitude difference between releasing a premium game? Because you're saying, this is a game that's awesome. If you want to pay for it, that's fine, because it's awesome. And if you don't want to pay for it,
you don't play.
You don't play. So is there an attitude difference in your marketing pitch?
Of course. It's a huge difference. Like with Ridiculous Fishing, I need to convince you to buy the game up front. With a free-to-play game, I need you to get playing and then keep you interested long enough to keep going. Free-to-play games can use the game, right? Ridiculous Fishing cannot. The advantage we have is Ridiculous Fishing is kind of mysterious and kind of interesting because you can't play it, and all you know is like all the 5-star reviews. The 5-star reviews are there because it's a good game, right? So they're different challenges. Free-to-play games, people don't really care about press. People don't really care about a lot of things. You should still do it because why not? Like there's no reason not to do it. But on free-to-play games, your challenges are different. Context is different. And again, we're talking about communication. And in communication, you need to consider the context. You need to consider what you're speaking in. So free-to-play, what your trick is not get people to buy the game. Your trick is get people to play the game. And then you made the game good enough that when they're playing it, they eventually get funneled to the point where they have to pay, right? If you're making a premium game, all you need to do is get them to buy it. Then as soon as they buy it, they will like the game. There are very few people that will buy a game then immediately think it's terrible, unless it is like actually genuinely terrible. You know why? Because they just spent $3. And nobody likes spending $3 and going, wow, I made a big mistake today. People don't do that. So all you need to do is make sure that after like 3 hours of play, people still feel that way. Now, premium, free-to-play, this is a discussion I hear a lot. This one is easier, this one is easier. They're both hard.
No, but if you had a game which you obviously, if you think had something, sorry for the cliche, unique, then you would think of offering it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you have a game with an amazing mechanic, and you only show like the first level of Pac-Man, when people play it, nobody's going to buy the game. Like, you need to put the unique thing in there. You need to show people that it's there. You don't need to give it to them. You need to let them know. You need to communicate that. You need to make sure that people know that if they pay for this game, they're going to get this super, super interesting thing. A lot of people are not necessarily looking for unique in free-to-play. They're just looking for really, really entertaining, for like something that will keep them busy. So give them that. And if that loop is good, it'll be fine. It'll be fine is a really oversimplification, but you get my point. Final question, who dares? Did you ask a question before? You did a pitch. Okay, go ahead. That's a lot of running with the microphone. I like doing that. Like take a question there, and then take a question there, and then take a question here. Sorry.
So my question is, I guess there are 2 schools of thoughts when they are making games. So one is like how you make games. Make a game with a good amount of detail, you put in a lot of time, put in a lot of energy with the super finish, and then you launch it to the iOS, to the app stores. Then there is another school of thought which says just launch a game, see how the feedback is, then we'll keep on improving and improving it. In your view, obviously you mean you're from the former category, but do you think this second category is also good, or how can they improve on it?
No, the thing is, here's one thing that nobody ever tells you about game development. No, 2 things. Here's 2 things that nobody ever tells you about game development. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing. I do the things I do. I've got experience. I've gained that over the past years. I've been making games since I was 6. I don't know if the thing that I just decided will work. We decided to live stream the development of our game on Tuesday and Thursday. We thought it was a great idea. I don't have any spare time anymore. Monday I work on the game, Tuesday I live stream, Wednesday I work on the game, Thursday I live stream, Friday we make a stable build, Saturday I upload it, write the update log, Sunday we fix the bugs. This is my week. Then in the middle I'm flying around the world, giving talks, going to places, meeting people. It's awesome. It also means that I have 0 spare time. So that was a pretty dumb idea. Like, actually, that's a terrible idea, but we did it anyway because we didn't know if it would work. It's also really fun. Like, we have an awesome community. It paid off really well, but like, would I do it again? Probably not. So here's the thing. Nobody knows what they're doing, and the thing you should do is the thing you believe in. If you believe that the second way is better, if you believe that is more fitting to your game, do that. Don't be stubborn, though. If it turns out that doesn't work, don't do that. If it turns out that that was like a bad decision and you can reverse it, reverse it. Like, making games is not a science. It's an art, right? And even those that approach it like a science still kind of have to admit that they don't know whether it'll work. Like, you could make another Angry Birds, probably wouldn't work right now because the context has changed, right? So, anybody telling you this is the right way to make video games or this is a wrong way of making video games is per definition wrong. They don't like it. I like releasing a polished game, but then again, Nuclear Throne was released in early access full of bugs and half complete, right? It was stable enough, it worked, but there were a lot of things we weren't happy with and we just kept working on it as we went. So we did both of the models. We like both. The thing you do, figure out what is better for your game, what is more appropriate. Is this a game, is this like Sword and Sorcery? Is it a game that you can play through once, and it's this powerful narrative experience? Then please don't do the second thing, where you release it half broken and then fix it. Like, make sure it's perfect and then release it. Is your game a mechanical game that you can play over and over and over again, and like all that changes when you update it is minor tweaks that make it better? Use the second model. Or use the first one. I don't care. Pick one. Pick one, try it. Doesn't work, try something else. Good. Thanks so much. If any of you have other questions, I will be here. I'll be there. I will take your question first, promise. Thank you so much for being here, and see you around.
All right. Yeah, I guess that was a super informative session. And thanks, let's all thank Rami for being here and coming to give his wisdom about press releasing, about public relations. He's really good at that. And this is a small token
Thank you so much.
appreciation
Oh, thank
from
you.
NASCOM
Appreciate that.
people.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.